Hello everyone, welcome back to our biology classroom. And now we're going to talk about your question about how to do this assignment dated October 19th, Homeostasis and Cells. So let's go ahead and click this link and it will take you to this workbook. And you can refer to this. I have discussed this presentation already to you. So what you're going to do is click that link and it will take you to this homeostasis and cells. I want you to remember what homeostasis is because this is very important. Take note, take note, take note. Homeostasis is to maintain a relatively constant internal conditions. But how, Miss A? How can an organism maintain a constant internal condition or a dynamic equilibrium? By number one, growing. Number two, responding to their environment. Number three, transforming energy. And number four, reproducing. So those are the four things that make the organism maintain their internal conditions constantly. So I want you to take note of these words. Cells. Cells are the basic unit of life, right? You have to remember the cell theory. One cell is the basic unit of life, and every living thing has a cell, and cell comes from pre-existing cells. Those are the cell theories. But I want you to remember that group of cells are called tissues. Again, group of cells are called tissues, and they perform a particular function as well. And group of tissues are called organs. Okay, they work together to perform essential tasks. And organ system is a group of organs that work together to perform a specific function. So what you're gonna do is to remember these words because it will take you to these questions. And I want you to remember as well that cells of multicellular organisms communicate with one another by means of chemical signals that are passed from one cell to another, or in some words, they call it sensors. Okay, so these certain cells, they form connections or junctions to their neighboring cells. Some of these junctions hold cells together really firmly. Okay, other cells, they allow small molecules carrying chemical signals to pass directly from one cell to the next. So to respond to a chemical signal, a cell must have a receptor. Take note of the word receptor to which the signaling molecule can bind. So for the question number one, blank is the term referring to the relatively constant internal physical and chemical state of a living cell. I want you to go back to this. Go back to this. What I have highlighted here, the first word that I have discussed, homeostasis. So that will be your answer here. So you're going to write homeostasis. Okay, that's how you're going to do. Right, so I'm guiding you of what to do. So here, there are many prokaryotes. Miss A, what are prokaryotes? Prokaryotes are those organisms that have no true nuclei. Their cells have no true nuclei. So examples of those are bacteria. Okay. And what are unicellular, by the way? Unicellular, it is composed of one cell. Uni means one, and cell. So one-celled prokaryotes. Okay, what are those examples? These are bacteria. Some other unicellular prokaryotes are those paramecium. in our laboratory. Did that one last time. And what about eukaryotes? Unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, like algae, they contain chloroplasts. They are like plants, but they're not actually plants. They're called algae. Then what about yeasts? Yeasts are examples of, they are fungi. Okay, they are eukaryotes because they are fungi. Then number 5, what other unicellular eukaryotes? Algae and some protozoans. Okay, some protozoans. So Miss A, how do these single-celled organisms maintain their homeostasis? How do bacteria maintain their homeostasis? Of course, they maintain homeostasis, the internal or dynamic equilibrium, by number 1, as I told you before, growing. Number 2, responding to their environment. So they're gonna respond they, um, they, to their environment. They can move through their cilia, flagellum, by pseudopods, maybe. They can transform energy. That's number 3, and reproduce by reproducing. So those are 4 things. So why is maintaining homeostasis particularly important to single-celled organisms? Of course, because they consist of only one cell. So loss of homeostasis by a single-celled organism would mean the immediate death of the organism. So that's why they still have the homeostasis. They do not have any other cells that can perform the activities of life for them. So there's only one cell, so they must have also homeostasis, or they must maintain their internal environment. Right. So here, question, how are the cells of a multicellular organism like a baseball team? You know what a baseball team is, right? Everyone is helping each other to win, okay, to play the game, right? The baseball. Okay, I like to play baseball as well. Okay. So we can go to home run, we have your teams as well. So a multicellular organism has many different types of cells. Multi means many. So since multicellular organisms have different types of cells with different shapes that specialize in one of the functions that keep the organism alive. This is one of the functions that keep them alive. They have many cells and they help together. Different shapes, okay, of cells. So like a baseball team was different players and each have specialized work, okay, or jobs, and that must be done so that team can function. So it's the same as the multicellular life. So next question, number 9. How does a multicellular organism maintain homeostasis? Yes, the multicellular organisms like humans, people, and animals and plants, they maintain their homeostasis by having specialized cells that must maintain their own homeostasis and cooperate with other cells. This is what you're going to do. So this requires the cells to communicate with one another. Remember, multicellular, there are many cells and they have to communicate with one another. And each cell in this multicellular organism contributes to the overall homeostasis of the organism. So take note of that. Everybody must work as a team. So you have here the table. Type, the first column states the type of cell, cells that line the upper air passages in humans. The second one is the name of specialized cell part. We have this cilia. And the third one is function of specialized cell part. So what you're going to do is, based on our lesson last time, Cilia. What is the function of the cilia? For the cells that line up the upper air passages in humans, we have also cilia that sweep up our mucus or debris and bacteria out of our lungs. Okay. And what about wings, Miss A? The pine pollen grains. They have wings. What are the functions of those wings? They enable the pollen grains to float in the slightest breeze. That is nice. So they can still reproduce. Because wind is one agent of pollination, right? The wind. So because of the wings of these pollens, it will enable these pollen grains to float in the slightest breeze and go to the next area or different area so they can grow and reproduce again. So next one here is a Venn diagram. It consists of four concentric circles. So what you're going to do is to, since you cannot type in here, you just write it below. Remember the relationships among the four levels of organization of life, starting from the cells. And what are the group of cells? Tissues, right? And a group of tissues, organs. And a group of organs, organ system. So those are the four things. So here, for the next, starting with the outermost circle of the diagram, explain how each level is related to the next level. I already talked about that. One group of cells, okay, it's all found at the introduction part, so you can just go over and look with it. Number 13 is what is the name of the areas that hold adjacent cells together and enable them to communicate. They are called the cellular junctions. Okay? I know I haven't talked much of this. They are called cellular junctions. So here, what does it mean by Venn diagram? Okay. Okay. A Venn diagram is a circle that represents the organism's level of life, and it should be drawn outside the outermost circle for an organ system first. Okay, here, organ system in this part here, outside of the circle, or organ system here. A circle that represents another organ, the same organ system would be drawn within the organ system circle, but would be separate. So from here, so you won't get cells here, tissues, organs, and organ system. That's how you will do. And for the, I think this is the last part. So I hope I have helped you with this one. Thank you. And if you need anything, don't forget to email me on my school using my school email. Have a great day. Bye-bye.